Hi guys, John here, Mr. Forex Fire. It's been a few days or around about a week since I last done a video. So what I'm going to do today is sort of look at a system I've been using, and it can work on any pair, to be fair, but I've been looking to do this on the US30, and I'm sort of going through a challenge at the moment. But I've been marking up some charts over the last 3 or 4 days, and they've all been doing pretty well, all been profitable. And I'm going to try and sort of explain a little bit about it and what I look at, and just see if it plays out. You know, I've got my profit for the day for what I need, to be fair. I won't be entering in on this unless I go in small, to be fair, because I don't really need to go back and market the day. But I'm just going to share the screen. Here we are. So what I've got is, as you can see on here, forget everything that's going around and what all these green and purple things are at the moment. Basically, I'm on a 1 hour time frame, okay? And as you can see, we've got price movements. We've got obviously a trend here. We've got higher lows and higher highs, and we'll continue that up to here where we're plateaued off. And then we started coming back down into this consolidated area, okay? Now, as we've come down into this consolidation part here, you can see the previous trend going up where this higher low is. We've now sort of plateaued here, and then we started creating lower highs, okay? So as we're coming down, we've now broken the structure of the previous higher low. We've created on this break of structure a lower low, okay? So now when I've broke the structure of that, I've marked this out. I've got my pink line, and I just want to see if there's any sort of resistance. The yellow and the white's like high-end liquidity areas. And as you can see, as we go back, it's holding structure tested, and then it's just heavily tested in here. So that's given me a confirmation that that is a very significant area. So as we broke up through here, we've come back down to come to a high probability area where we're going to see some form of reaction from a previous support and resisted area, okay? So with that in mind, we broke the structure. I've got the resistance point, okay? We've got the white arrow here telling us there's a sort of a structure point where we're going to start a bounce off, which we have done quite heavily on here, okay? And as we sort of break structure to create liquidity and grab that, there's going to be a pullback to induce, obviously, people to buy. So to sell from, sorry, okay? So what I'm expecting is, as we've come down and grabbed this liquidity, we've come back up and we've done this area here, this lower high, okay? I'm now expecting the pullback to come in. We haven't taken the liquidity out on this part yet, so we're still within a little bit of a price range. So I am looking for price to sort of come back down and test this area. And all this area is basically this structure point pulling down, and then there was a pullback. We come back down, another sort of induce on the selling. I'm expecting this to be respected because we're not grabbing this lower low, okay? We're within where there's been a resisted area. This sort of consolidated here. I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce up and then an entry in on here. This would just be for a very quick 1 to 2, or maybe 1 to 2, 2.25 or so. We're looking at the parameters that we have on here, but we're just going to anticipate the price coming down, touching in, and then not so much going to take the higher liquidity areas higher up here, but at least give us a little bit of a in and out indication of price. Okay, now these on here just extra bits of confluence I can use, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about. If you want to know what all this is about, you just need to reach out to me. I'll get you in contact with the appropriate person that's sort of put me to it. Okay, I'm seeing good success with it. It's given me some extra confluence to trading structure points, but at the moment it's currently around about what 10 to 12. Ignore the time on here, this time's wrong. It is around about 10 to 12. It's just the system on here is not updating where it should be. If I just sync that up, there we are, 10 to 12. I don't know why this is on parallels. I'm on a Mac computer, you know, so as you can see on here, it's all Mac, but I'm on parallels. So it's 10 to 12. I'm going to be looking for price to move down very, very shortly, coming into the next hour or two, for when there's going to be an open. Okay, the New York Open. From here, I can see we've now pulled up, and the scissors on here. This is just telling me there could be a pullback in pending coming in, and you can sort of guess red and green. The movement on the 5 minute, 15 and 30 is telling us that it's bearish. So the momentum on the 1 minute is showing bullish, as you can see. Okay, and that's indicated from here as well. A little bit of a bullish move from here to here towards green. I'm just waiting for certain criteria to come in, wait for this to go red. The probability for the long is only 9%, so that's telling me it's waning out. So this will probably come back down to 0 in a short time. Yeah, making this probability on the pullback to come down to touch into an area to then hopefully give us a turning point for this to hold structure. Okay, we want this to hold structure for maybe a 1 to 2. We've got two areas where you could have take profits. You've got take profit 1, take profit 2. We'll just see if we come in to touch this and see what happens from there. What I'll do, I'll go back up to, was it the 1 hour? Go back up to the 1 hour. What I'll do is I'm just going to take a photo of that. Take that now. Go down to 15 minutes. So I've got my before and after shots. The 15 minute. Let's get my ugly mug out of the way. Take another screenshot. And then I'll pause the video. I'll come back and we'll see how this plays out. And then obviously it'll be posted onto the Discord just to show you how it's played. I may then decide if I'm going to get in on the trade. I might go in for a short, small lot size. Again, we're now on this here. We're now showing red. So we now should start getting the pullback. And then hopefully this will hold structure. We'll be coming in on play of the order block system where it's going to bounce, touch and come up. And again, we're now showing red, yellows and oranges on here. There's nothing green as such on here. So this is just going to tell me there's going to be a price coming down. So I'll pause the video. We'll be back in a short while, guys. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Hey guys, so it's coming up to the hour, so I'm going to share what's happening just after 12. So it's 10 minutes since I set this up. Okay, just share the screen. And again, just to run you through, we can see we've had the break of structure from this higher low. Okay, we've got to the higher high. We've come down, made a higher low. We failed to break the higher high. Okay, so it's created, there's two areas of sort of liquidity or target areas here. Excuse me. And then as we've come down, we've broke this higher low, creating a lower low here. Okay, and that is in conjunction with a very strong resistance and supported area, as you can see as we move along. Okay, so it's sort of telling me if we get like a sort of signal area, I'm looking for a potential move to the upside. Not much, just to put, because we've got a bit of a pullback here. We may have already missed this, to be fair, but again, this is what I'm doing. I'm documenting, I'm testing. We've come down, we've got the pullback here. I'm just hoping that this is not just going to be a continuation breaking this structure. This is the only thing I'm worried about. This may be because if this is now on a downturn, okay, we may have already missed the move because we haven't hit liquidity here. Okay, so we've induced people to buy here, so we've come down. I just hope that it's not going to be this is where the signal, or this is where we should have traded for the pullback. Okay, I'm anticipating that we are going to touch into this, because as we've come down to touch into this, we haven't broke that previous lower high. Okay, so I still think we'll get a touch into here on that basis, and as we get the touch into here, I do believe I only want to try and see if we can get a 1 to 2. If you can get that on US30, it's fantastic. It could possibly well go back up to these higher areas, but like I say, it is just over the hour. We can see that there's now a little bit of a push on the 1 minute. The 1 hour, half hour, 15 and 5 is showing bearish. It's going to start coming down. We've got from here to here indicated with a purple bearish, again being oversold, so it's in a little bit of a buying phase at the moment. If I just strip it down to the 1 minute, which is where I want to look at primarily at the moment, just to see where we'll come on with price. Let's have a look. We'll just make this quick and painless. Auto chart scroll and then take it back off. Right, so now computer's slowing up. Just bear with me, guys. There we are. So as you can see, we have started coming down slightly, but then the 1 minute and the 5 minutes now getting bullish, so it's doing a further push up, and you can see from here it was oversold, and again we have got the XP. It's starting to go greens after the bearish, after that bearish movement down of the purple. It's now starting to turn green. The long probability starting to push forward at 27%. XP4 is telling us it's long. So again, this may simply be a push before the return back down, to be fair, because again, you don't want to be entering in a push phase. I'm still holding structure of between here, which was an order block, and I'm still going to just sit on my hands and see if we get an entry on here. Just bear with me again, because for some reason the computer goes extra slow. Shouldn't do, because it's brand new, to be fair. Let's have a look. The only way I would sort of cancel this trade out is if it's sort of, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll put a line on here. Okay, I'll put a line there. And then I'm going to target. I'm going to put that a little bit higher up on there, just to see if there is a possibility to go there. But what we're waiting for is to come down, to touch in, to sweep and go up. Okay. This would be generally around about 1, 2, 3, around about 1 to 4.5 to 1 to 5 on a risk to reward. We're just going to see if this is going to come down, touch in, and then go up. I'll pause the video. I'll keep monitoring it, and I'll keep coming on the video just to show you guys what has been happening with this sort of trade today. Okay, I'll speak to you in a bit. Right, guys, so it's now 12:30. Like I say, I'll just quickly be jumping in and out of what's going on with this on the hour and on the half hour. We'll just drop it down to 1 minute and see if it's actually where it's actually entering. If it has at all ended. I don't think it has just yet, but we'll see where it is. We're dropping down. You can see we're starting to slowly come into the area. We are telling us it's short. 18% of it coming short. Again, it's oversold, which is what I want to see as it's coming into this area, so I can see a sort of in a bounce back up, you know. And it's taking liquidity to create liquidity. Now, what I mean by that is, if you look at this, okay, if you look at that, it's coming down and it's going to be taking liquidity down here. Obviously, I've got my stop loss, which is going to be further down. So it might be a case of it comes deeper into the areas, okay, to take the liquidity. So it may even come down into drawdown as far as here. But my analysis is for the higher time frame where there's a structure point here. So as we're coming down, we're taking out liquidity. But if you notice, we're coming down, breaking liquidity, creating that lower. We're creating a pullback. So these yellow lines here, this one here, there'll be a liquidity area here on the pullback. And then as we come down, if we break this structure, there'll be another pullback. So as it's taking out liquidity going down on them sort of lower lows, as it makes the lower lows area, it's taking out the previous higher low. Okay. So it's always doing the opposite from what it was doing from the uptrend to the downtrend. And again, that's where we're at on the half hour at the moment. It's 12:30. We'll wait for this a little bit longer. We'll see if this by 1 o'clock, we'll see where we are at 1 o'clock and see if it has actually ended. Okay, so I will see you at 1 o'clock. So it's just coming up to on the hour. It is just after 1 o'clock. Let's share the screen. Let's have an update and see where we are. Again, breaker structure on the hourly. It's played into the resistance area and support. Very prominent area. And then we started getting the pullback, creating from these higher lows. Okay, so basically, you know where we are, what we're looking for. I just want to go down to 15 minutes first of all. We can see we're hovering just over 18% on the 15. Momentum's coming down overbought, so we should be seeing a pullback. Got some scissors here, getting the pullback down. Primarily want to sort of enter on the 5 or the 1 minute, to be fair. Got a little bit of a trend line here just to showcase the sort of liquidity areas, because as prices coming down, when we create these higher lows and lower highs and higher highs and higher lows sort of thing, it creates liquidity area. Then you get the pullback, and then you'll get the reversal to take out that previous structure point. So this is what I'm looking at the moment. Again, I did see I had possibly missed this, because as we come down, we seen on this structure point here between here, we had to pull out, took liquidity from this higher lower high, sorry, okay, took the liquidity out from this area, and as it took that liquidity out, it's got to induce more sort of selling. So as this is a downtrend, we've come up, we broke that structure point, we've come down to induce a selling point from here, because after all, this is just a lower high. We're starting to peter out a bit here. We wicked out of here, okay, taking out the liquidity here. So this is possibly trying to induce buyers, and I do think it's going to come down and sort of give us an entry along here. The long at the moment is still at 0%, so it's telling me it's lost its momentum. Okay, we've got this bearish move now starting to come on the purple, and we are oversold. So there may be a little mini sort of push to start to get this move double tapping up here before we start to get the entry. I've got the structure point from that 1 hour aspect, holding structure along this line here. Okay, you can see where the pink is. It's got a lot of support and resistance. I'm just waiting for the order block sort of area within, I think it was the 5 minutes. Within that 5 minutes, 15, let's go to 15. Yeah, so it was within the order block of this here. Okay, we had a little bit of a pullback here, but I was looking at possibly this being underneath this structure here, but I pulled it down to the bigger longer structure, which was further to the left. We can see on the 15-minute, there's a lot of bearish sort of movement going to be happening shortly, simply because we're a lot of reds. Waiting for this to come down and swoop and take us in. It is seeing the XB4 is on the long side of things, but again, it's lost momentum. I do believe if we go down to 5 minutes, we're starting to come down towards the entry point. Okay, I'll stay on here for 2 minutes just to see if it does get a touch entry. If I go down to the 1 minute, we might get another pullback. See what I mean? It's creating liquidity up on here, and it's took out this liquidity. So as it's took out the liquidity here, it's broke this structure on the 1 minute. We might start to see a bit of a pullback to induce another lower high. So we've got a lower high, a lower high. We may get another lower high sort of produce around about this section here. Okay. I'll leave that there. We may get another pullback here. So we've got 3 areas of a reason to sort of push to the higher side. So we may get that little bit of a push up to then come down. And again, this may even come into drawdown to take the liquidity on these sides to then eventually sort of then, because we've got lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, I would then expect an ignition sort of thing to push us up on the higher side. Okay. Again, US30 is very volatile. This is a system that I've been using for the best part of a few weeks now. I'm getting to grips with it, but it's taming the volatility, in my opinion, because it's identifying structure points, and within those structure points, it's identifying areas of liquidity to the low side, to the high side. And like I say, we've already built these areas here where we're slowly going to come to look to target these, to take these out. But as we take out these areas, okay, that's built up as a higher low. Okay, as we come back down with lower lows, we take out each area. But every time we take that one area out, you will ignite another pullback, creating another reversed point, which is, on this occasion, this will be a lower high. Okay, so when we do eventually swoop down so many of the liquidity points here, you get that reversal, and then we can slowly start taking out the reverse that has come down, creating the lower highs, if that makes sense. I do believe that we may get another pullback from here to maybe this area. Then we've got 3 source points of ignition where the banks or the money makers can induce sort of more buying to selling and selling to buying, and take out these other liquidity areas. We'll see what happens. We'll come back within the next 20 minutes, which will be our half-hour point. Okay, hopefully you're following along and this is making sense, guys. Once again, guys, it's on the half hour. It's 1:30. Let's just see what's happened with this. Let's just see if we've gotten that entry. To go down to the 5 minute first of all, we can see we have come into the entry points. Did we come up to create more liquidity on that lower high area? I'm not sure if we did or not. To be fair, we haven't. We've certainly come into the area of point of interest. That's what I was looking for. Sorry. So I have come into the point of interest area. We have got areas up here where we've got structure points. I mean, I was anticipating a move further up to here. We have got to tell you the pullback, in fairness, has just come to here. So now we've got a reason to sort of push out of the area now. So if we just get this, we just pull this down to here. We did get a little bit of drawdown, which is what I was anticipating. Okay, I did say we'd possibly get some drawdown. We may even come in to take liquidity from these areas. But as you can see from here, we've more or less come to touch and respect this area here. Okay, we've come in to respect that. Will this structure point hold? If it doesn't, the next point of structure is a couple here, but this will be the main one down here. I am anticipating a move to the higher side. We just go back up to the 5 minutes. Again, as we're coming down to attack those areas like I showed you, okay, as we're coming down to attack those areas, we're holding this structure point here of the higher low at the moment. And then if this holds structure and we do get that initial inertia push, I would at least, I did see it at first, I was expecting the move to possibly come to around about here, which would have been around about a 1 to 2 area. We can see on the 5 minute we are oversold at the moment. So we'll see, we'll get that initial drive, see if we get the initial push to the higher side to basically attack obviously the liquidity that was here, the liquidity that's here, liquidity and liquidity there. Okay, we'll see if we'll get that push there. Go back down to the 1 minute before I sort of give you an update at 2 o'clock. We are coming up to the open. Okay, if we just scroll a little bit further into here, it is holding a structure on this area at the moment. It's come down to test the order block. As you can see, the last down before the push, order block here. It's perfectly into this wicked area. We're starting to get the push out into the profit. Okay, again, you can see I have not entered the trade today. Okay, I have not entered that trade, but I am documenting an outlook of what I was looking at. It's simply because at the moment I'm on just over 10,000. I'm on 150 or just under 150 of profits. I've got to get that target to 800 to get a pass. I've got my target of what I want to do, but again, I'm just sharpening my skills with regards to what I foreseen and what I'm projecting, if that makes sense. Okay, so it is now just after 25 to 2. What I'll do is I'll pause the video, I'll come back onto the screenshot, we'll see where this plays out to, and I'll do this up until around just before 3 o'clock today, because I've got to go and do a school run. Okay, so hopefully this is just going to give you some idea of what I look at structure wise, the liquidity wise, the low lows, low highs, higher highs, and low highs sort of thing, so you can just get a feel for the sort of stuff I look for and how. Okay, guys, so made a bit of a schoolboy error. In fairness, I'm getting in on a trade a little bit too early. Try to use minimal sort of risk. And again, I'm going through a learning process of US30. And you've got to respect its volatility, to be fair. Well, let's have a look. I got in on a trade. I was on 150 profits. Okay, got in. I was only going to risk the 50, thinking, well, we were going to get the move. It's come down into the certain part of the drawdown on here. I thought there was going to be a level that it was going to respect and keep on, which was this here. It's actually come down and broke through it. I should have held, or I should have just not took the trade at the moment, simply because I said we had all of these areas. As you can see, you see the liquidity areas on the white lines with the white arrows. They'll come down. It's come down and it's tested, poked its nose through. Now it's having a pull back now, so the buy may be coming in imminently. I've drew this up because I was expecting a push up. It more or less came here. Back to the order block, I ended in or around here, okay, because I was expecting a push out, creating a higher high, to then come back down to an entry, to then push higher, to then come down, to then take off for the ignition to take out all of these sort of lower high areas. But again, it's went up, come down. It didn't quite surpass. I should have waited to see if I was going to get a break of structure on this area here, to then come back in to retest the order block. But it's actually come down and it's taken out this liquidity area as well. So again, learning curve for me. Let's have a look. Am I actually sharing? Share the screen. So from here, what I was looking at, I do apologize about that. Liquidity was being built here, 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 and here. I got in on a trade, risked £50 or $50. It went against me and it took out my 50 that I've took today, leaving me at just under 100. Okay, I was expecting the price to come out. I got in or around here. I should have waited for this initial drive here to create a higher high from this area. Okay, once it created that higher high from this area, I then could have ended if the price came to here, from order block to order block, as it took liquidity moving on the direction back up, and it hasn't done that. It is still moving down from this initial inertia point. Excuse me. So a little bit annoyed with myself. Should have had more patience and learned from that. But again, overall, the trading idea that I initially have for this is still holding structure. It's just I thought I was going to be able to get in and not have as much drawdown into the red area, which again, bad for me thinking that. Just getting a little bit of trigger too trigger happy with things and trying to get in on it. But again, let's take a look. Again, this is just showing you that we all make mistakes. I am human, just like anybody else. Yes, I have been getting a lot of these. And again, this trade is going correct from my first analysis, but I don't understand why I jumped in. Again, it's just because I'm in front of the chart. I'm seeing the price, I'm seeing the movement, and I just got a rush of blood. That was it. We'll see if this holds structure, see if it holds point. I'll come back at 2:30, and we'll see if the price is actually deciding to make the reversal and go to these high areas. 1 minute and 5 minutes. Excuse me, you sure it's green? The MACD, we would need to wait for the signal trade area thing, like this purple line here, to come out. It is oversold. The initial burst is showing a 55% short. So again, that might mean that it's just simply, that might just mean it's simply going to attack these smaller areas. Okay, let's just see if I can scroll out. That's 1 minute. It's a 5 minute. I've got the 15 minute. See, I've got that was the breaker structure. This was the resistance and support area. I still firmly believe we're going to get a little initial burst up. But again, if I was going to get in on that trade, looking at it, I should have went with the structure points that I have analyzed for. But again, emotion wise, I'd be more than £50. I'd probably be eating into all of the equity that I've getting on this 10K at the moment. Again, showing all red, but it's a bad sign. This is all red. It's looking for a short. If I'm honest with you, it looks as if it's going to come and attack these areas, to be fair. Simply going on the basis of what this is all showing at the moment, just red. All red. It's just going to, momentum is going to be on the downturn. We're going to go back on the 1 minute before I sort of close off, and I'll come back on it at 2:30. Let's just have a look. I need to get this back over to the auto scroll. Now it's broke that structure. I mean, obviously now coming to attack this area here. So that's the area it's going for now. The push, pull back for this lower high. Within this trend moving up, it's coming into touch off this, off the bounce. Will we get the reaction from this point? We'll soon see. Or is it actually going to take out the whole of this liquidity from the trend? We'll see. I'll come back at 2:30. I'll give you a closing statement, or at least I'll come back at 2:30, and then I'll come back just before 3 to see where we are. And then after the video, because I've got to do a school run at the end of the video, if I need to, I'll do a screenshot once this has either hit the SL or it's gone to target areas. Okay, so I'll see you in around about 20 minutes. Hi guys, it's now just coming up to 2:30. Let's see where this trade idea is, or at least the layup that I've done, just to let you know I have getting back in on the trade based upon the structure point overall. Because again, if I see it and the things are pointing to where they are, I'm in a challenge, so I might as well go for it, you know. So if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's just what I need to look at. If all everything's pointing towards the direction I need to, then it's happy days. I just need to be able to have the confidence with the US30. Again, this is real. This is not something that is fluffed and then showing you after it, like what's the word? What do you call the playbacks, where you're back testing. I'm forward testing with this. Okay, I've traded for 5 years. I've never traded US30. Trading can be emotional the best of times, but trading US30 just brings a whole new concept to having to have the correct mindset, you know. So I'm going to go up the screen. We'll see where we are. Let's take a look. At the moment, I'm in some profit. It's been in and out. I'm clawing back some of the profits that I lost before. Hopefully, we're going to get that initial push. I've entered into from the drawdown area where I thought at first with the order block. Okay, so at the beginning, you can see how it's flashing between those areas, and now it's in minuses. This is because we are at the open and things like that. We're going to get a lot of push. This could just spike down and wipe me out, or it may go my favor. I was 40, 50 quid up. I'm now nearly £100 down. This just shows you how volatile this is, you know. And it looks like while I'm on live, it's going to wipe me out. And again, I'm not going to hide behind anything. I don't need to, okay? So again, you can see from there, I'm in the drawdown. Even if I went down to that 1 minute, which I will do. Let's just see what we can see. Might go a bit slow because of, just wipe this out. Let's just go back. Again, that initial push, what I was wanting and what I was expecting hasn't came, okay? Again, looking at what I'm at the moment, have I getting into something I shouldn't have? It's looking that way. But again, I'm not going to hide behind anything, guys. I don't need to. I want to show you the struggle is real and that it can go against you. And this is what's certainly happening with me at the moment. I'm now eating into my overall starting balance of equity. Let's get off that 5 minutes, off the 1 minute. It looks like it's coming down to take out that breaker structure area as well. It's not looking good. It won't be detrimental to the account other than I will be starting from a minus on the account. Okay. The My Forex funds, it is 12% overall drawdown. Okay. At the moment, I'm about 1% down on my overall balance. That's what I've got to look at. I've got to take away the emotion of I'm at £100 being up. Even if this comes down and wipes me out, I think I'll only be about 1, 2, maybe 2.5% down overall. But I am targeting to the upper side of here. So again, there'll be a few £100 taken at least. I don't think I'll go for this higher end target here. Even if it come up to a few £100, I would possibly close it out. But this is the risk you've got to take with the US30. Again, it doesn't half play with your emotions. What I'll do is I'll come back to you just before 3 p.m. because I do have a school run. I'm going to let this play. It's either going to do what I want it to do or it's going to decide not to want to play a ball. And again, guys, this is just part and parcel of trading. Like I say, I don't hide behind anything. I've got no need to. But looking at where we're at the moment, it's all showing red. Being on a down. And again, a lot of bearish here. There's not much momentum coming for the green. We are oversold on the 15 minutes. So I'm hoping this is just flushing people out, to be honest, on this lower, like the lower highs, on the higher lows, sorry, this trend line that I was mentioning. I'm just hoping it's just flushing everybody out on here and that this will hold structure. And then we can just see a whipsaw come back into play and hopefully that's it. You just got to take your mind away, like I say, from seeing these big numbers here. Okay. Yes, I'm eating into my overall equity profits, but again, it's the risks you have to, especially with US30 when you're first starting out on your challenge. Okay. So I'll be back at around about, I would say 10 to 3 just before the school run, or just on 3. In fact, I'll do just on 3 o'clock just before I run around to school. Lucky enough, the school's just around the corner, and then I'll take it from there. You can see it's now starting to come back into play as well. So maybe this is just a flush out before the move. You're seeing it live in front of you guys. You've just got to hold your nerve. You've just got to hold that nerve, okay? So I'll see you in the next 20 minutes or so. We'll see where we are there. It's either going to be out or it's going to be in. So we'll see you in a bit. Oh, it's 3 o'clock, guys. So I'm going to have to quickly shoot off and do a school run. I'm going to do a snapshot. But again, got in on a trade. It was going south. I lost, got back in. It was going south again. Let's see where we are. Again, I don't hide behind numbers. Don't need to. I don't feel the need I've got to. I'm just showing everybody that the struggle is real. And this, again, is not Forex. It's US30. And it doesn't half play with your emotions. Let's see where I'm at anyway. Right. So, as you can see, I was on £148 of profit. I lost 50 quid, took me just under 100. I was then eaten into my equity. I was under 10 grand, and I was in drawdown. Okay. Price had turned back. And as it turned back, I sort of come back into the profits that I made back today. So I was on 148 at the time of this video. I then clawed back the loss that I'd made from earlier, which was a 49 or a 50 quid loss, take me just under 100. I was then, let's not forget, then in the drawdown of my initial start balance of 10K. I've now brought it back into where I was at from this morning's profit, and at now 158 pound. So this shows you just how volatile the US30 is, you know. And again, between I've been out, obviously hospital appointments and doctors and things like that. So it's hard going for me at the moment to keep on top of everything. But again, this is still holding structure. I do think I got out at the right time, because having to go and do like a school run or going to do whatever, if I was heading out and this was in the drawdown it's in at the moment, I'd be freaking out, especially with it would have been literally under the 10K starting point. But I'm finishing the day. I don't tend to trade on Fridays, to be fair. I might try and look for a little entry, a little snipe entry like I have been doing and chipping away at the block, see if I can get 20, 30 quid and then call it that. I think I've been rolling the dice too much today with regards. I had the profit for the day. That was the target I was wanting. Again, I don't want to be going and trying to push for these hundreds and 200 quid. I've got to remember that this is a 10K account. The overall target is £800 to get on the My Forex funds. And again, if I just chip away and get 30, 40 quid at a time throughout the space of those 30 days, I will get the first phase to pass. And I don't want to stress myself too much by entering on a trade and then seeing it go for £500 into obviously the drawdown. Because again, even though I've been trading for 5 years, trading the US30 is still new to me. Price action and the movement is still, structure-wise, is still relatively the same, but you're playing with the big boys when you're talking about the US30 and things like that, because there's a lot more money involved with it. This for me has been a dipping the toes in the water for a challenge, because I've got a 20K challenge. I mean, let's just bear with me. If you just bear with me, see if I can share my screen. I'll see if I can show you some before I sign off. I'll share the screen. So this is my challenge at the moment, okay? I mean, you're looking behind the iron, you're looking behind the curve with this. From here, I've got a profit factor of 2.93. Anything above 1 is good. The win rate is over half, so it's not gambling, you know. Anything below 0.5% on a win rate, you're gambling, you know. I'm just above that parameter at the minute. The profit gain at the moment, 1.59. I've got to get to 8%. This is a 10K account. From there, that's my 20K, which I've not started yet. I wanted it to do, I wanted to do 10K and test the nerve, you know. And again, I just want to chip. And overall, the profit for the day, I've gained $60. Okay, so just over 0.5% for the day. And if I can do that and just chip away at everything, I'll be happy. From there, guys, I mean, obviously, this is the balance what started at today from yesterday. So I started at just under 100. Add the 61.30 on that, gives me a total of 158.94. My overall consensus of the journey of doing this is it's very emotional, but if you can keep that in check, this can be, if you are consistent with Forex and things like that, and you understand the price action and things like that, this can be not like a get your account as fast as you can and get to the profits where you want to be. If you have it constructed and planned in a way that you are going to respect the market and respect the price like you do when you're trading Forex, then you can contain what can be an overall one of the emotions that can get a hold of you, which is greed. Okay, I think the reason why I'm not getting so much on that side of it is because the emotion of fear for me at the moment. It's a case of it can go heavily south straight away. I just want to have the price, have the structure there, and understand that there should be some form of move from that contained area. And then if it does go into so many pips and I can bag myself that little bit of profit, like I say, to get $30 or $40 a day on US30 should be easy. Should be easy as long as you get that to move in the direction that you have planned out. Okay, as long as you have that, see, you are going for a long directional bias. The moment that goes into being long and you get that first initial inertia drive and push on the direction that you're seeing, you should be in and out of the trade like that, you know. So again, I don't want to be rushing and pushing for the thousands of dollars, the hundreds. I've got to remember that this is still a 10K account. It's not massive when you think about US30. It is still minuscule. US30 and maybe 50K accounts and 100K accounts would be fantastic. I want to start from the ground up, see if I can work my way and getting these little bits of profits, and then going into staging these $30, $40 of profit, and then attain the first phase pass to then get the full account, and then build the profits from that, and then enter myself on what would next be the 50K account, because I've already got a 20K account there on my lap ready to go. But again, this is my forward test. This is what I'm using to get my emotions in check with it. And again, I've got nothing to hide, never will have anything to hide. I don't hide behind these back testing things. Look at this, and this is what you could have done, or this is the area. I've shown you an overall snapshot of something that's already played out. I will always put my face forward and show you that this is what I'm looking at. And if it falls flat my face, it's just an invested learning curve for me. And that's the way you need to look at this, guys. Okay, so let's just have a look at where we are. You can see, was I right before I even have to do a screenshot? You can see what I've done today. It went against me, or it hasn't gone against me. If I'd stayed in, it would have. You can see there, it hasn't quite, in fact, it has wicked through that breaker structure. So I got in and I got out, grabbing the directional bias moves from the lower time frame, which was the 1 minute when I was looking at these sort of liquidity areas. So the overall picture could have been even nastier. This could have had my account maybe -2 or -3% overall drawdown on the whole account. But what we've got, we've actually been able to identify when something was in our favor. take that profit and run. It doesn't matter whether it's £10 or £10,000. If you've got that profit and you're happy with where that's at, take it and run. Again, I got in on a trade early this afternoon when I first started this, took it down my $150 to the $99, got back in on the trade, seen I was at just over where I had the profit from this morning. I took that money straight away, straight off the table, because I knew that's where I was from profit this morning. And in hindsight and looking at it, I should have just been happy with what I took this morning. And this is why, guys, you take little and often. The more you stay in on a trade, or the more you stay in active, the more chance you've got it to go south. And certainly that's what's going to be happening on this for people. Okay. But again, happy with the overall structure and what's been happening with this. Again, for 20 days left on this, I think it works out to be about $33 a day I need to take, albeit I hate to trade Fridays. I need to get in on a trade tomorrow to try and get the directional buys, to try and get that $30 odd, because if I don't, then that $30 odd that I don't get tomorrow will have to be spread over all the other days that I have left on, which will be 18 days by the time the 19th day comes in, if that makes sense. So that's it for me today, guys. Again, I've got no reason to hide behind anything. I hope you're enjoying the content. Okay. And if you're not already in the Discord and you want to come in and see the other stuff that we do, just give us a shout if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Discord, because I will be posting this into the Discord for the guys to see. Again, like I say, a lot of the guys that are in there already know I have been trading for 5 years, but it's always been Forex pairs. This is my official first go of a challenge, trading it live. I've done FTMO challenges on the trial, but again, you only have to get a small percentage. Okay, this is a proper full live challenge. We'll see what we do with it. Hopefully we'll get through it. We'll see what happens. Again, if I lose, it's not money lost, in my opinion. It's money that's been invested in your journey to learn. And hopefully we'll come out of it the other side in good stead. Okay, guys. So that's it for this video for today. I will see you all a bit later.